Well, hello everybody and welcome back to my radio shop. We're working not so much on a radio today, but this turntable. I think this is video number 2. I've fiddled with this mechanism a fair bit and it's still not working quite right. But I think what I'll do now is I think I'll work on the amplifier and we'll knock the hum out of it. Very carefully flip this back. Just kind of set it. Yeah, that's been that way. Just set this out of the way. Can. There we go. Okay, amplifier is held in by 4 screws here. Let's try this guy. Bingo. That's one. Two. Now, you know, in some of these record players, and certainly in lots of older radios, there's a sheet of asbestos that you want to be very, very careful with. This one doesn't seem to have it. And I'm afraid that Canadians have a big role to play in why so many people died of asbestos, cancer caused by asbestos, over the years. And that's pretty controversial, but there's a lot of asbestos mined in Canada. And the Canadian government's position has often been that there's 2 kinds of asbestos, dangerous asbestos and not really dangerous asbestos. And guess which kind we have? We have the not really dangerous asbestos. Well, that's what they'd like to tell you. So what I do when I come across asbestos, and I have some professional training in this too, is, you know, I know the problem is the asbestos. I think the term is frying, believe it or not. Friable is certainly a term, and that means turn into dust easy. And so I'm just going to do this very carefully in case there is a sheet of asbestos. No, there's a metal plate there. So no asbestos here. So I'll have to tell you more about asbestos sometime when we actually have the problem in front of us. But let's just say, if you come across a cloth-like white material in any of these kinds of things, that's pretty sure to be asbestos. And you better read up on it, because I'm not going to talk too much more about it. Now let's take a look at what we've got. This is a few more parts than the last one we looked at. So, well, let's see, we've got this may be the cause of our hum right here. This rectifier These guys could be the cause of the hum, these two big capacitors. That's quite a bit of capacitation here. Let's see, this has got a... That's a 4040, and I think this one is also. That's an awful lot of capacitors. Everything else looks pretty good. Yeah, it all looks pretty good. But I suspect this guy is our problem. So, or was it that because that ground wire was disconnected? I never did just tap it on to see what it would do. I wouldn't expect it to relieve the hum, but before I start doing all kinds of work here, because I don't think the client wants us to do things just because. I think we have to have good reasons for doing things. I had better test this with that wire. Yeah, you saw the wire in the other video, video number 1, but I'll just set that back there. Get a hold of that piece of wire. Here it is, here. Just bring it out. It's not long enough to go where it needs to go, so I'm going to put a clip lead on it here. There's the wire, and I put the clip lead on it. And what I'll simply do is I'll just go like that and see what happens. I mean, okay, there's other possibilities, but we don't need to go into it. Okay, I think we're good here. Doing a quick little safety check. May not be the best to have this thing on an angle, but okay, we'll apply the power. We'll turn it on. Better if that's snapped on a little bit. Now, let's see, I gotta control the volume here. So let's make sure the amp is sticking out. Quickly grab a knob. There we go. There you hear it. See, the curious thing is there's no hum when the volume's down. And most power supply hums are quite distinct when the volume's down. So right there, you can see the problem basically is grounding. And that volume's pretty high, so that's what it is. Broken wire made it on. Just saved myself a lot of work, didn't I? I also saved the client paying money that he really shouldn't need to. So I think the long and short of that is there's nothing at all wrong with this amplifier. And there's no reason to do anything to it. So, with that in mind, I know what the client would really love on this, and that's to clean this up. Easily done. So I'll give this thing quite a good cleaning, and he will be happy, and so will I. So we'll just put the screws back in. And get back onto the mechanism again. Ay, ay, ay. Let me use my Way Cool screwdriver. this one here can hold a slotted screw. It's not a strong screwdriver, so you cannot tighten screws with it. But man, it's really handy. This is just a little awkward for a long-handled screwdriver. Okay. When I was a kid, we had a screwdriver at home that also gripped the screws, and it actually had little fingers that kind of came around and grabbed the screw and spring loaded, so it pulled the screw up against the head, and that was pretty good too. Okay, we'll tighten them down with the socket wrench here. Socket driver, rather. No harm done. Well, I guess I wasted a little bit of time. I really didn't have to take this apart, but it is usually good to look inside. You want to see if that big high wattage resistor in the power supply is overheated. That's a usual thing. You can see easily see. Let's just do a quick vacuum here. Sorry for the noise. Oops. Okie doke. Now, we're ready to get back at this mechanism. Now, I did throw a little bit of solvent and some... Did I shoot some of this in there? I'm going to shoot some in now. It's a bit of a messy thing to do, but I want to try to get it up. Yeah. Now, call in the forces of nature to help me, and that would be gravity in this case. Come, gravity, help me get this oil in the right spot. I'm just kind of letting it run right in here. This piece seems to be misbehaving. Oops. Let's put that on there. So I tell you there we go. Yeah, that just doesn't seem right. Right in there. Seems like something should really be moving that's not moving. The difficulty is getting at that piece and seeing what's going on is okay, there's a metal bar there. I think that metal rod. Where else can I see that rod? The piece just doesn't look right at all. As I said before, you know, I'm not familiar with every mechanism in the world. I don't know how you can be. There's some similarities in these, in maybe 4 or 5 kind of like classes of mechanism or basic types. But each one of them is a little different in how it's done. I just don't think that's right in there. And that's the kind of thing that you can damage by spinning the platter by hand and forcing it past a sticking spot. And by forcing it past, what you're really doing is bending something or knocking something right out of where it should be. But I don't really know what's happened here, and I don't know how to get at that part. You know, without complete assembling of the mechanism, and I loathe the thought of that. So I'll fiddle for a bit and see if I can find a hint. That's a bit of a curious piece. Let's treat it to some of this. I'm stumped here. That's not good. That feels and sounds like a skipping gear. Okay, made an interesting observation there. Let's study up on this. If I don't break it myself. Of course, on old things like this, the plastic can become quite brittle. Oh, I'm sorry, I got this stupid light right in your way here, don't I? Okay. Okay, my observation was... What was my observation? Yeah. Was, I was turning this drive. I heard some bad sounding skipping. Let's put it right upside down here. Yeah, That grinding noise is just the motor. It's upside down, and so it's not riding in its bearings properly. If I can just push that a little bit. Ooh. That doesn't feel quite right either. Is that same part we've been watching all this time? It's very near to it. Really, that piece can't be in the right place where it is. It just can't be. I'll show you what I mean by that. Or something's not quite right with this. So. Where'd my trusty magnifier go? Using it just a few minutes ago. Yes, but I don't know what I did with it. Okay, so we'll just carry on here. Okay, and you look right in here. Get a better pointer. That's not good. Need a real fine pointer. Okay. So when you look at this piece of metal right here, this round piece with the hole in it, it's sitting inside this gap where the platen goes around, and the platen has a little trigger arm that sticks out. That's this piece right here. And that goes around and around and around every time, and nothing happens until the tone arm has reached the end of the record. And at that point, something protruding in this area catches that piece that's passing on the platter, and that triggers, probably in this turntable, this drive wheel, to engage with the motor. And once the drive wheel starts, the whole mechanism begins operating. So that's how I believe this operates. Now when we look at this, you can see a little deeper inside. You can see this rod here. Yeah, that seems to be fixed in place. And just over here, this is just a piece of the record player chassis, if you like. And this metal piece is wedged tightly between those two pieces. So it raises a really good question. What good is that? Why is it there? What's going on here? And you know, it could be a symptom of having spun the platter backwards. Now my options, I can't see everything here. It's interesting, my camera can see almost more than my eye. Let's put the powerful magnifier on it and see what we can see. Powerful magnifier, we'll get right in there and light it. See, the camera's kind of in the way now of the light itself. Some light from the back. It's not showing me anything to write home about. I remember too, in the first video when I play the record player and the platter turns, you hear the click, click, and that's almost certainly this piece being banged into. by this piece. Yeah. Look at the scratch marks on there. That's kind of interesting. Get my magnifier back. So we're looking at the piece that is supposed to engage. I guess we might call it a toggle. With a toggle in the record player. This is a solid piece of metal, and there you can see some pretty good scratches on there, eh? Yeah, I'm going to take a look at those with my eyeball. Myself. Let's see what... Oh, it's taken some pretty heavy wax. And that, as in wax, not W-A-X. Wax as in hits. So it's definitely been scraped over that piece of metal. Okay, so I'm starting to conclude that that piece of metal just shouldn't be where it is. How that could be, I don't know. Again, reversing the mechanism, I don't know. I don't know. Would they market a record player that if a person spun it backwards, it's finished? I don't know. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. This is somebody else's oil I'm cleaning up here. Oil from somewhere other than me. But that sure isn't going to help. Well, one option is just to pull, push, or try to relocate that piece myself. So we can do a certain amount of that without taking on too much risk. We're just limiting how much we push or pull it. So let me try lifting it here. Oh, came right up. Came right up. And let's come right out. Hey, look at that. Okay, so now we really know the problem here. Did you see that, or have I got this thing aimed up? I'm crazy though. Yeah, the angle's just not good. Okay. A lot easier for me with my three-dimensional eyeballs to see what's going on, but here's the piece we've been kind of wondering about, this thing with the hole in it right here. And it was pushed. I can't push it down. It was down in. Yikes. Like that. I got a little grease on my hands now, so. Well. So if I move this small tab, you'll see this wheel move up against the drive from the motor. So I push this back. Seems to push it away. If I pull it forward, it pulls the mechanism up into here. Now, does the opposite happen if I move this? No. Oh, there we go. There, see another. Ah, I see another piece moving back here. You see a delayed operation of this piece with this. Yeah, if somebody wanted to say, gee, man, how'd you learn to do this? Well, as you can see, it's not really so much I've learned how to do it, I'm just persistent. Persistence pays off, by the way. And, was this the guy that was moving? Which guy was moving? What was this thing? This plate here. I think it was a little sticky. Doesn't seem to be so now. It moves the whole drive mechanism and that trigger latch. And that's interesting now. Have a look at this. Okay. Let me just move you around here a little bit. Still can't quite see what I want to show you here. That's a little better. Okay, if you look at this plate, when I do that, it's directly moving that tab we were fooling around with by the spindle. What I notice that's interesting is it doesn't come to the end of the slot. Can you see that? There's more slot. And even this part, which is also traveling in a slot, has more slot. And what about that guy? The spring could collapse. There's a spring in there. The spring could go smaller. And this piece here. There's a fairly solid stop on it though. Maybe we fixed it already. Don't even know it. The lever out here is sticking way out now. So I think we got to try it out. I think we got to test this baby out at this point and see what's happened, because I may have just freed up the stuck part just now. It probably didn't hurt that I sprayed lubricant here and there and everywhere. I don't really want to set it all the way down in. That's just too much of a hassle. Set it like that. Keep the volume down so we don't hear the hum. Lift this up. Drop this back in place. Now you know what? If you put this in, can you see that thing? If you were to put this in and have this drop right on top of that, I think bad things would come from that. So I'll make sure I don't do that. Okay, now I'm going to turn it by hand until it encounters that that piece. So when my finger gets around to this area, it should encounter it. Something right there. Pushes back past it very easily. Now it's encountering the tab as I predicted. It'll only push by if I force it, and there's no way it should require that. What that other thing was, I don't know. There it is. Kind of running into something there. Something more. Oh, well, first of all, the bearings are out of it. When I had this upside down, the bearings fell out, so this is lower than it should be. This piece is so wide that that metal piece should be dragging around here. Well, it doesn't go down that far. Not normally. Better mount the bearing back in it properly. I didn't bother doing it before because I figure I'm just going to drop it anyway. Like to turn the unit over and drop it. Look out. So here's the bearing. Maybe you call that a race. And then usually there's a washer, yep, on top of it. I'll have to clean these up after. But this will give us the right height. Don't want to do that. Okay, Mr. Record Player, sit there, please. Now, once again, if I put this on the wrong way, that... Oh, it doesn't look right. Maybe there's a retaining spring or something. What was that? It was a pleasant little click. There it is. Here it's heading. Man alive. Washer stuck here. Easy to lose this stuff. Yeah, I'm stumped here just a little bit, so let's turn my attention to another concern, which is the motor, strength of the motor. And yeah, we can take the motor bearing off, the lower motor bearings. I think I'm going to attend to that. I think I'm going to do another video for that. So, thanks for watching. What did we do so far? We found out hum is from a wire that was disconnected. That's easy to fix. The amplifier is in good shape. The mechanism has something funny. It may be damaged, bent, spring missing, part twisted, something. We don't know yet. But I think I'm going to deal with the motor, so we'll do that in the next video. Thanks for watching.